Now here's your host, Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage.
Oh, yeah!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports and Metal Podcast, the season finale for 2021 of Sports and Metal. First and foremost, hello, Jason. Always good to see you. My partner in crime, Mr. Jason Voorhees, and a special thanks to our sponsor, La Terrain Watches. You're going to go to their website, la-touraine.com. You're going to save 10% at checkout using our promo code SNM. That's SNM as in the letters SNM for Sports and Metal. Make sure to check out their beautifully handcrafted watches. It's Christmas time, guys. It's not too late to get an order in for your loved one or for yourself. These watches are beyond reproach. Beautiful watches. Anyway, brother, how are you, Jay?
What is going on, my dude?
Much, man. Not much. I'm good, man.
Final show of the year. Like, I am psyched, man. I mean, I'm not psyched because I don't want it to end. But then again, 2022 is going to be our year, so it's going to be even better.
That's it, man. That's it.
We're super stoked and excited. I'm super stoked and excited about our guests that we have on today. One of them actually commenting right now. Yeah, dude, I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be here. A little frustrated with some of the news going on right now, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But
before we get to the negative news, first and foremost, let's congratulate New York City Football Club for winning the MLS championship in Major League Soccer. Jay and I aren't huge soccer guys, but we'd be remiss if we didn't congratulate them. And congrats to Steph Curry for setting the all-time NBA three-point record. He's the all-time leader in three-point shots, so congrats to Steph Curry. Now let's get to some of the negatives, entertaining stuff, Jay. Urban Meyer, dude. Is this the worst coaching hire in the history of the NFL?
Dude, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think it is. I mean, there's been a couple bad ones. I mean, Bobby Petrino comes to mind, and obviously Rich Kotite, former Eagles coach, is pretty up there. But this guy, Urban Meyer, I mean, I got to be honest. I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, I don't think you are.
I mean, I'm not surprised that he didn't succeed. But I mean, how could you not be surprised with the extent of the ineptitude and the controversy? I mean, it's just like it's unfathomable. It's unheard of. I mean, in any other industry, I mean, some of the stuff would cross the line if there'd be lawsuits. You know, the most recent story, Josh Lambo, their kicker, an all-pro kicker, one of the most successful kickers in the last 10 years in the NFL, missed a couple of kicks in the preseason. He said he was stretching before the last preseason game, and Urban Meyer kicked him in the leg and said, "Don't miss any more fucking kicks." Dude, in 2021, in the Me Too era and everything else, that constitutes as an assault. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake, in addition to all the other nonsense. You know, he didn't fly back with the team after a loss early in the season against the Bengals. Stayed in Ohio at his bar. Some girl was dancing on his lap, got caught on video. I mean, is it worse that the girl got caught dancing on his lap? Because we all know these guys do all kinds of stuff, you know, whatever. They're famous people. I'm not going to judge anybody, but the fact that that happened after he chose not to fly back with his team after a loss, what coach does that?
I mean, the guy is obviously, to me, it's more than just the football aspect of it. He's obviously a bad person. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
To kick somebody, like you said, if that was a normal job, honest to God, we could be facing like assault charges, like you said. Yeah. I brought it up on a show the other day, and it was like, I don't understand. Like, and you know, I heard someone say, "Oh, well, he'll get a job in college," but you know what? I'm not so sure about that now.
At this point, I am not either,
dude. Because if you're a college, any college, look at the optics of that. If you brought in a coach like that, would you, first of all, being a parent, you have three young kids. Would you want any of your kids around a guy like that running their sports program? I think the answer is absolutely hell no.
Dude, absolutely not. And he's been a great college coach, don't get me wrong, but that's part of the problem. In college, you're dealing with young kids. He comes to the NFL and he's talking to adults like they're kids. And he's talking to his assistant coaches with complete disrespect. Another recent story that came out the past week is that in meetings, he was questioning his assistant coaches' track record, basically saying, I've won championships. What the fuck have you ever done?
We
And
called
then
them
in front of the players,
losers.
Yeah, calling them losers. And apparently, like, Marvin Jones left the facility the way he was dogging on the receivers so much. I asked the question, is Urban Meyer the worst coaching hire of all time? You may have heard me chime in Nick Saban as a possibility. Our own Richard Dean Wilson from LoungeFly, which will lead to our special guests, he commented here, I'd offer Nick Saban in Miami. I had thrown that out there. Dude quit and left notes in his players' lockers, didn't even face them. Nick Saban's definitely on the list, and I said that, and he was awful. But Nick Saban didn't get to this level. I mean, the bottom line is Nick Saban's like maybe the greatest or probably the greatest college coach of all time. He went to the NFL in Miami, had a bad year, but then he kind of just quit. He quit, like Richard said, didn't leave notes, whatever, just left. He didn't have enough time to really fail and see what he would have done had he kept with the program. He screwed the Dolphins. He traded Wes Welker to the Patriots. His buddy Bill Belichick was up there. So he screwed him royally. But it wasn't the same as like Urban Meyer just completely being inept and, incompetent. That's the difference. I've never seen this level of incompetence,
Inept and incompetence as a coach.
But
then, I would call it irreprehensible as a person. I mean, the guy is, like I said, I knew I don't want to play Monday morning quarterback, but I knew he was not going to succeed from day one. And I was saying I thought it was stupid for a team to offer him, a job. And you hit the nail on the head. I think the problem with the majority of these college coaches that come in here, let's not forget, in college, they get paid like $10 million a year. But when you come to the NFL, now you got players making way more money than you. And as you said, they're adults. Do you think they're going to respect you? No, you have to earn that respect. And if you're treating them like you're the boss, like instead of treating them as people, then you're never going to win.
You nailed it, dude. You nailed it. In college, some of these guys have such a reputation. They're making an exorbitant amount of money to coach kids. Now they're much lower on the totem pole as far as what they're getting paid. And,
exactly.
I don't know what that says as far as like athletes being overpaid, but neither here nor there. Yes, you're dealing with guys that you need to earn their respect. You can't, and especially when you have no track record in the NFL. This isn't like hiring Bill Cowher, who's proven to be a successful Super Bowl winning coach. Urban Meyer thank you. We got Tyrone Brown checking in here. This show is pretty awesome. Thank you. But we got Urban Meyer, who's done nothing in the NFL. So when he's asking his coaches, what have you done? You're losers. If any of them have coached in the NFL, I'd have to look if they have. I know Bernie Parmalee is their running backs coach. But neither here nor there. A lot of these guys have had NFL success. So Urban Meyer's had none. My rebuttal to him would be, what success have you had in the NFL? None. And now you're 2-10, and you've embarrassed yourself, and you've destroyed your entire legacy.
Pretty much. I mean, I like I said, I don't see him getting another job as a coach, but I'll guarantee you he'll have a job.
Meyer checking in here. Come here.
Maybe either as a sportscaster or he'll go on his next book tour, and he'll write a book about how he almost saved the NFL or something stupid like that. So,
yep. Anyway, let's move on. We don't want to keep our guests waiting too long. NFL COVID outbreak, and it's not just the NFL; it's the NBA, it's the NHL. We talked about the Montreal Canadiens are playing in front of no fans right now, and I read in January they're planning on having 50% capacity. So this is like going backwards. I know the Browns Raiders game for tomorrow got rescheduled to Tuesday. And I believe the Seahawks-Rams game has gotten rescheduled to Thursday. So here we go again, Jay.
I mean, unfortunately,
you're at a loss for words.
Because as an Eagles fan, I'm super, super pissed off about the situation. Like, honestly, you had Washington. Reports are that the player that first tested positive is unvaccinated.
Oh, yeah. Has the Washington-Philly game been rescheduled?
Yes.
The Eagles were rescheduled.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Okay. That's why I'm mad.
Yeah.
So NFL came out in the beginning of the year when they set these guidelines, and one of the main things that they stipulated was if games had to be moved due to players being unvaccinated, that it could result in a forfeit. Well, here we are. Now all of a sudden they're kind of changing the lingo. Well, I mean, they didn't mess with the rule book, but they're basically, it seems to me like there's two rules for two different things. And I don't think that's fair. I think the NFL realistically needs to get its head out of its ass. Like, there's no consistency in anything that the NFL does surrounding anything with when it comes to COVID. It's not just the NFL, it's a lot of the leagues, but NFL has been absolutely atrocious. I mean, in everything this year, whether it's been, officiating to, the games that they've actually set to now to the COVID stuff. So I don't know. As an Eagles fan, I'm absolutely pissed off and frustrated. I don't know where you stand on this. Obviously,
I just don't know what
people having skin in the game.
I can't say forfeit. I can't see how it would be fair to forfeit games unless teams were violating protocol. So I don't know. I mean, it just sucks. I'll leave it at that. For 7, we got Richard Dean Wilson checking in again. For 7 p.m. Tuesday, Flyers home game at same time. Sports complex is going to be a mess. Yes, it is. And so the saga continues.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Jay, why don't we jump ahead so we don't keep our guest waiting too long? If that's okay with you. Please welcome to the show. This man is a very good friend of the show, as is Richard, who's been commenting. They're in the same band, LoungeFly, the premier Stone Temple Pilots tribute band. They're based in New Jersey. And they have an upcoming show at the Landis Theater in Vineland, New Jersey on January 7th, of which Jason and I will be there. Please welcome to the show, lead vocalist of LoungeFly, Mr. Brian Rosner.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Brian? How are you?
Good, man. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Welcome to the show. We're excited to have you.
Thanks, man. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. I hope we didn't keep you waiting too long back there.
No, that's cool. I was just here chilling.
Anyway, so you got this upcoming show January 7th, and it's not just you guys. It's a 90s rock fest, and your drummer, Ira, credit to him. It's been a labor of love. He organized this event. Yeah. We are super pumped for it. It's 90s Rock Fest. 90s Rock Fest is the Foo Fighters tribute. And
that's the Foo
tribute, the Leadbetters. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the show?
People are getting a great deal here, man. It's $25 a ticket. January 7th, Landis Theater in Vineland, New Jersey. And if you haven't been to that theater, I know you guys were there. That theater is top notch. Fantastic place, amazing sound, amazing visuals, everything, the way they treat you. And you're getting all three bands for $25.
Yep, the Best of Foo, which is the Foo Fighters tribute, and the Leadbetters, which is the Pearl Jam tribute, and of course, LoungeFly. Top-notch bands.
Yep.
I mean, you could check out their videos on YouTube. If you haven't seen LoungeFly, you're missing out. I mean, this is an absolute replica of the best years of Stone Temple Pilots. And Brian, you are the perfect Scott Weiland.
Thanks, man.
In addition to being the perfect Brian Rosner.
I mean, Aaron couldn't have said it any better. I mean, you guys are absolutely amazing. I fell in love the first time I saw your YouTube video about a year back.
Thanks.
And I've been a huge fan ever since. Obviously, we've become good friends with you guys. And, it never gets old, having conversations with you and, having you on the show. Because, like I said, you guys are, just the fact that, speaking of us being at the Landis at your previous show there, that was one of not only one of the best tribute shows that I've ever been at, it may have been one of the best concerts experiences, not only because I went with Aaron, who's my best friend, and obviously
you take it too far, man.
But it was absolutely amazing. Like, and then you guys, and then on top of that, you guys, you gave us a shout out, and you don't know how much that means to a fan, and especially considering I had just become friends with you. Like, it's not like I had known you for years. Like, and to give us that shout out at the show, that meant a lot, man. And so
it's my pleasure. For us, for us, anybody that supports the music community in the area. The other bands, the people like yourselves, and anyone else who's willing to help promote it and get it out there, it's such a pleasure for us to work with you, really.
We appreciate that. But before we keep going with this, I don't want to waste too much time, so we have time to get answers on the show.
Right.
Brian, I know you have a trivia question for the audience, and the winner is going to get free tickets to the show 90s Rock Fest featuring LoungeFly, Best of Few, and Best of Foo, and the Leadbetters, January 7th at the aforementioned Landis Theater. So why don't we get to that trivia question?
You're missing the shirts. They get one shirt from each band.
Oh, and they get a shirt from each band. My bad. Yeah. See, it's even better than I thought.
Right.
So you're going to get free tickets and a shirt from each band. Brian,
right.
What is the trivia question?
Just name 3 Stone Temple Pilots songs that don't have the song title in the lyrics, and then have to go to they have to go to Facebook to post, right?
Yes, okay. Or you post your comments on Facebook,
or
you can post them during the live, and you could post them after the show has ended.
Right.
And YouTube. Hold on, Jay. The first one to come up with the correct answer will win. What was that, Jay? I'm sorry.
But they can post to YouTube as well, not just Facebook.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you could post on YouTube as well. You could post to YouTube or Facebook. You could post during the live, or you could post once the show has ended. Again, the first one to come up with the correct answer wins. So the question, in case you missed it, you have to name 3 Stone Temple Pilots songs that don't include the title of the song in the lyrics.
Yep.
Okay, 3 Stone Temple Pilots songs that don't include the title of the song in the lyrics. First one to come up with the answer, you're going to get free tickets to the 90s Rock Fest, January 7th at the Landis Theater, featuring Best of Foo, the Leadbetters, and LoungeFly.
Right.
And you're going to get a T-shirt from each band.
And I see the landistheater.com just popped up on the screen. That's a good way to get tickets for the show.
Yes, I was just going to get to that. If you don't win the tickets, visit thelandistheater.com. Oh, there's my finger. There it is. Thelandistheater.com. Get your tickets. They're $25 a piece, and they're well worth it. I mean, anywhere you sit in the venue, you're going to have great seats. It's a wonderful venue to see a show. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about what the band's been doing? What's going on?
The band has been practicing every 2 weeks, which doesn't even feel like enough. We love getting together so much. And we got our set list ready for the show, and we make sure we practice every other week. And just getting ready, we added a new song to this show. That's about it, man. We're going in there, guns blazing. This is going to be a huge party. It's going to be really fun.
So you have a surprise song on the set list?
Yeah, it's a song. I'll give you. It's from their album number 4. It's not one we performed at the last show. And it's always fun for us to do a new song, but we're happy to play them all. Can't wait. It's going to be even better than last time.
Awesome.
Well, I got to be honest. Like, I saw you guys about maybe a month and a half ago in Delco, and you guys were amazing there. Obviously, it wasn't a front to back 2 album show, but obviously you played some of the deep cuts, and that's what I love about Stone Temple Pilots, because they got a lot of deep cuts, and you guys kind of honor that catalog, all their catalogs, as far as like from beginning to end.
Right. We got good preparation.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, because like I said, I think part of what I see about what you guys that sets you apart from a lot of other bands. I mean, let's face it, this area does have a ton of great talent as far as tribute bands. Like,
absolutely.
I think, you got obviously the Land of Oz, like probably the best Ozzy tribute band in America. You got you guys, best Stone Temple Pilots tribute band in America. Like, there's great Whitesnake tribute band around here. There's that, Def Leppard. Like, there's so many great tribute bands in this area. But one thing I will say about you guys is that you guys always work hard at your craft, and you're always trying to get better. And that's the mark of what sets a great band apart from a good band, is that work ethic. And you guys definitely have that. Like, obviously, last time you joined us from your your studio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all about bringing energy, and the more prepared you are, and the more relaxed you are. I mean, we're going to bring it this time. I feel like we've improved a lot, and you're right. We constantly work on it. We love it. We love this band. We love STP. It's a pleasure. It's a fantastic thing. And trust me, if you come to this show, you're going to hear ridiculous shit, a ridiculous set, tons of energy. Yep, there's Ira. You got to give that.
Ira's the drummer of LoungeFly. He's commenting. He just wanted to remind you guys, 90s Rock Fest with tributes to Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam, and STP. Not going to want to miss it. Brian, I want to ask you a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
Do you like the Scott Weiland solo stuff after he left Stone Temple Pilots? And what is your thoughts on Velvet Revolver? Now I know we've had the whole band on the show in the past.
Yeah.
I know you're a big Guns N' Roses guy. You're just like me. I mean, to you and I, we talked about it. Appetite's the Bible. So what did you think of Velvet Revolver with Scott playing with those guys?
I liked it. You know, I can't say there's anything that he did that I didn't really like. I mean, I'm just such a huge fan of his and everything he did. But, you know, I don't know how you couldn't like it. What did you think? I mean,
I'm not going to lie. Contraband is actually one of my all-time favorite albums.
All right.
Dude, I love that record. Contraband, to me, had the same, what's the word I'm looking for? It had the same spirit of Appetite to me. Right. It really did. It was like a revitalized Scott Weiland, because he had gone through all the shit with his drug addiction. He had finally gotten clean. You know, right. His wife was really good friends with Susan Holmes McKagan, Duff's wife. And so that's how Duff and Scott kind of hooked up. And you know, I don't know if you know Duff's story. Duff was such a drunk, his pancreas exploded. He had third-degree burns internally. And the doctor said, if you have one more drink, you're going to die. And if you look at Duff McKagan now, the guy's like 57 years old and he's ripped. You know, he can do triathlons and stuff. I mean, he rides 25 miles on his bike, runs marathon, this and that. So, I mean, he's a really, to me, I mean, he's a real role model. And him and Scott really hit it off. And just like the whole vibe of that, like they helping each other out. And you watch the Fall to Pieces video and how they reenacted Scott's addiction. And you see Duff pick him up in the bathroom. It just like there was so much like the way Appetite was with like as far as like the lyrics meaning so much to their real lives. Like Mr. Brownstone, yeah, they were junkies. You know, Welcome to the Jungle. Yeah, Axl was a redneck, and he showed up in LA and got off the bus, and the guy said, "You know where you are? You in the jungle." And he put it to music. Contraband had that same spirit to me. So I love it, man. I love it. I love that stuff.
Slither's on that one, right?
Slither's on that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a good song.
Yep, absolutely, man. But I mean, I love everything Scott did. I mean, it's such a shame that he's not with us anymore.
I know. It was not long ago. Was it the 6-year anniversary of his death? Yep.
Right? Yeah. So Guns N' Roses is back together, man. And I just saw him at Hershey Park. Have you had a chance to see them?
I think I saw him about 2 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, Jay and I saw him when the Not in This Lifetime tour first started. We saw him at Lincoln Financial. And then I just saw them again this past summer. First concert out of COVID besides you guys. I mean, literally, the only two shows I've seen post-COVID are LoungeFly and the Guns N' Roses show at Hershey Park. That's it.
Who's better?
Quite a combo.
I'm not going to lie. Axl doesn't have the voice he used to have. So if I'm talking about straight performance, I might give it to LoungeFly. And Guns is my favorite band. So that's a very big compliment, Brian.
That's nice. I think it's
because, you know, Guns is like it for me.
Brian, I have a question. So tell everybody how you got into singing.
Oh, I've always sung. I think it started when I was young. Just something I guess could do and did the school plays in high school and then just wound up in bands at all different points in my life. And I think like anything, the more you work at it and the more you learn about it and you know, the better you can get. And there's really no limit to it. You just have to keep working.
That's a great question because you know why I was going to ask you that myself. You weren't always a front man.
No.
Were you?
No, you know what? It could have been that I never started my own band because I'd always joined some sort of established situation. And in most circumstances, they were missing something like a bass player or a keyboardist or something, second guitarist. So I would just kind of fill in and then sing what they would let me to whatever, as far as I could take it. And that got me kicked out of a couple bands at some point, fighting with the singer over the songs. But I guess after a while, it just made the most sense, being that everyone involved loved STP, and I really enjoy singing it, to just do something different.
That's awesome. And we have Richard chiming in again. Just wants to add to everything you've said. We actually look forward to getting together at rehearsals. We care for each other, so it makes the hard work, not work. We look forward to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of
love.
I
think that's the most important thing for a band.
Yeah. There's a lot of love when you just call your band members up and you're like, oh man, I missed you. It's been 5 days since I've seen you, and it's going to be another week until we play again. It's nice, man. It's a very family deal and
a brotherhood.
It's actually it's a brotherhood. Yeah,
like a fraternity.
Makes you feel comfortable on stage because you're there with these guys and they're fun, and it's good to see familiar faces. Did you guys get front row tickets again? Are you going to be right up front?
We're not going to be front row this time. I think by the time I got on there, they weren't available, but I think we're like fifth row.
All right, I'll look for you.
You won't miss us.
We'll be the ones cheering the loudest, as always. I'll make sure I have my blonde hair again.
What are you rocking now? What do you got going on?
I'm still blonde. It's not but it's kind of growing out. So I'll make sure I get it done right before the show.
Right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Have you seen Ledbetter's or Best of Foo before?
We have not. We have not.
Either of them, but I definitely haven't saw either of them. I'm definitely a huge. If I were to say which one I prefer out of Foo Fighters and Pearl Jam, it's obviously, for me, it's Pearl Jam, but it's always the early Pearl Jam, because I'm not really, for me, Pearl Jam is one of those bands that got so big, but yet I always will go back to their original material. Like I don't think they'll ever sound as good as they did on 10. Like, to me, 10 was like one of the best all time, because obviously Stone Temple Pilots isn't grunge. Pearl Jam is, pretty much grunge. I mean, they pretty much invented it, them in Nirvana. And I would say it's probably one of the best, if not top 3 grunge albums of all time. Not that I don't like their other material, but I always, like I said, I could crank 10 on 10 from front to back, and it never gets old. Foo Fighters, I'm not really a huge Foo Fighters guy. And it's not that they're not a good band. I just never really got into them.
Right.
Well, I'm going to come in on this.
I know Aaron's probably going to have different, because Aaron and I different tastes a lot.
If I may, let me come in, because I think we're 100% in agreement. I think 10 is not only Pearl Jam's best album, it's got to be on the list of all-time great albums. And I hate pigeonholing music into terms. Like, obviously the grunge movement happened and it's going to be called grunge. I get it. But to me, the first Pearl Jam album is just a great rock and roll record. And we had Richard commenting a minute ago. Again, he likes the first 3 albums. That's about it. Second is my favorite. Versus is my second favorite Pearl Jam album. I love it. But at that period of time, Pearl Jam had that same kind of vibe. He says grunge is a tough label. Nirvana, AIC, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. You took it off so quick, Jay. I didn't get to finish it. They all sound nothing like each other, yet all grunge. Yeah, I agree. I hate pigeonholing the music. Obviously Alice in Chains is the most metallic, but back to what I was saying. The first Pearl Jam album, 10, is a rock and roll record. I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite records. The second record was Pearl Jam at their peak of popularity when it came out. I'll never forget at the MTV Video Music World Awards. Yeah, right. Remember when MTV used to play music? Yeah, that used to happen. For the young generation, they may not know that. MTV, the M stands for music. But anyway, I'll never forget when Pearl Jam came out with Neil Young and did Rockin' in the Free World. and just the power of the performance. Like I harken back to Guns, the power of Appetite when they came out. Pearl Jam to me had that same vibe. Certain bands captured that, and Pearl Jam was one of them. Like even when you look at the Alive video and you see Eddie stage diving and just the energy of it and the way he sang with the anger, with the marbles in his mouth. But anyway, it was so cool. The record rocked, and they still maintain that into the second record. So that's my second favorite record. But I mean, the thing with Pearl Jam, to Jay's point, I think they didn't want. Jay said they got so big. Of course, they got so big. They were already big from those two records. But it wasn't so much that they got so big; it was that they didn't want to be big. They wanted to be Pearl Jam, and they didn't want to be pigeonholed into what they sounded like on the first two records. So basically, Pearl Jam became like the modern day Grateful Dead. They're like a jam band. You know, they didn't want to make music videos anymore. You know, they protested against Ticketmaster. So I admit I kind of lost interest long term. I wasn't as into them going down the road, but I can't fault them for what they did. But then I get to the Foo Fighters. You said how you'll always like Pearl Jam more than the Foo Fighters. If we're talking about the early stuff, I'm 100% with you. But dude, in recent years, Foo Fighters have become one of my favorite bands. If you listen to the Wasting Light album, that's one of my favorite records of all time. And if you listen to the song White Limo, dude, it almost has like death metal vibe to it at parts. You need to hear that whole record, dude. Dave Grohl is a total metalhead, dude. I know he came up with Nirvana and he's known as the Nirvana drummer, but dude, he's also the devil in fucking, you know, the Pick of Destiny, you know, with Jack Black, Tenacious D. I mean, this guy's a fucking metalhead. What was his other metal project he had? I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. White Limo. There he is. Richard knows what I'm talking about. Dude, you got to listen to this shit, Jay. Foo Fighters aren't just what you think they are on the first record. I mean, and truth be told, they're the modern day arena rock band in the sense of like, you watch one of their live shows, they have such hooky choruses. They could play like Giant Stadium or Lincoln Financial Field or this or that, and they have the whole crowd singing the choruses. So that's where I'm going to beg to differ. I like Foo Fighters a lot.
And you can beg to differ.
The point is I didn't in the early days. But to me, they evolved into such an arena rocking, kick-ass fucking band.
And you're right. You know, I probably should give him more of a chance. And I, like I said, I'm not sitting here claiming to say that I listen to all their material. So you're right. And you know me. I'm one that will go back, and I will. And as a matter of fact, now you just challenged me because now I'm going to go back.
My favorite Foo Fighters album, the one I recommend for you to listen to is White Limo. They went back to just, you know, simple, you know, 16 track, you know, nothing fancy, no overdubs, and just like went and made a rock record. Probot. Thank you, Richard. We got Richard. I couldn't remember the name of his other project. Probot, dude. That's like a pure fucking death metal, fucking thrash metal project by David Grohl. I mean, Lemmy participated in that, all these metal guys, you know, and so he's a total metalhead. And he's such a multi-instrumentalist. If I have one knock on Dave Grohl, and it's not even something that's his fault, it's that he became like the token guy at like the Grammys. You know what I mean? He's like the token rock guy. And that's not his fault. That's like a fucking indictment of the music industry that they don't recognize rock music. Well, you know, everything on there is mumble rap. All the fucking awards that are televised is garbage. And then the rock and the fucking real music, even if it's classical music, all the real music, the awards are handed out off the air. The only thing on the air is like fucking whatever the new mumble rap flavor of the week is. You know, except Dave Grohl. For some reason, Dave Grohl gets to perform on the show. But
well, how about you, Brian? What are your thoughts? Like, where do you fall on?
I'm a big fan of 10, and a big fan of the Foo Fighters in general. Just about everything they did.
Cool.
So, but
so you're more pro Foo Fighters. So I think we're all in agreement as far as 10 being that. You know,
that whole album, that was definitely
phenomenal.
Album. You know, with some bands, and I think you're gonna talk about Metallica at some point, right? Some bands.
Yeah, before we do, I think we just realized something. Everything we just said shows why this '90s rock fest is a show you must not miss.
Oh well, I think the best thing is no matter which band you like, you're getting a good hour of each band.
Yeah,
you know? and for $25. You can't beat it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the best ticket around.
You can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Still waiting for answers to that trivia question. We're gonna have to pose it again.
Yeah, well, they have time. They don't have to answer during the live. They can come in after. But yeah,
But
Brian,
anyway,
you mentioned it. We're going to bring up Metallica. It is the 40th anniversary of Metallica, and it's like a big weekend. The San Francisco's mayor has declared it Metallica Day. Maybe I don't know if that was today or yesterday.
That was yesterday. Yeah,
yesterday. And they're doing 2 pop-up shows in San Francisco over the weekend. They're trying to generate support for local businesses, beach cleanup, giving back to the community. So since we're going to talk about it, and it is the 40th anniversary of Metallica, Jay and I were asking each other, what is your favorite Metallica song? Brian, do you have one?
Yeah, I would say it's a toss-up, but I don't want to say 2 and take yours, but I would say Nothing Else Matters. It's probably one of my favorites.
Cannot go wrong with it,
Can't
dude.
go wrong with it.
What about you, Jay?
Well, first, before we get into mine, I kind of wanted to do the segue of why I kind of proposed that question. So today, I happen to be listening to Sirius XM. I just got a new vehicle. I'm like addicted to Sirius. Like I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I'm going to talk about it on every show because that's all I do is listen to Sirius. Even when I'm not in my car, I listen to it at home on my phone. So anyway, I was listening to Mandatory Metallica because obviously I'm a diehard Metallica guy, always have been. That's my style is the thrash scene. Great track, and we're gonna get to that. So Sirius, what they did was, knowing that it was Metallica's 40th anniversary, and being that Metallica is involved with Mandatory Metallica, they put out a poll question to all these fans. And they got back the most votes that they've ever gotten on any poll question that they've ever done. So the poll question was, they basically generated what's your top Metallica songs, and they came up with a top 40 list. So I'm going to give you a rundown of what their top 10 was. And then and that's why I came up with what is your favorite track, because obviously everyone has their own favorite. But the top 10 rundown was basically coming in at number 10 was Wherever I May Roam. Absolutely awesome.
This was chosen by the fans, you said.
Yes, this was chosen by the fans. Now, pick 9, ninth pick was actually a little bit surprising because I thought this song was going to fall higher on the list considering it's one of their most played. But I think the fans got it right because although I do think it's an awesome song, I don't think it's their best. And that's Enter Sandman. That came in at number 9.
Sick of it.
Coming in at number 8 was Battery, which is absolutely awesome song. I mean, that song never gets old to me. Obviously, Master of Puppets to me is, the Magnus Opus for the band. That's my personal favorite album. If I had to pick one, obviously it's close between that and Ride the Lightning, but I always go to that. Coming in at 7, one of my favorites, Blackened, off Justice for All album. Obviously, it's the introductory song on that record, and the song is brutal, man.
Can't go wrong with Blackened.
Can't go wrong. I think it's an awesome list, by the way. Number 6, Seek and Destroy. I mean, talk about a song they still play to this day. It shows. Freaking love it. Number 5, Richard already hit on it. Creeping Death.
There he is.
Number 4 was Fade to Black. Number 3 was For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay.
Which is not surprising. I know it's up there as one of the favorites.
I'm not surprised.
And why am I drawing a blank? I guess I didn't write down the second one. Oh, God.
You're killing us, Jay. You just went through the fucking first 8.
The second.
Hey, this is live.
Oh, my God. Well, I lost my spot. I'm sorry. So, the number 1 Metallica song of all time, as voted on by the fans, Master of Puppets.
Okay, what was number 2 then? You skipped it.
Did you say Nothing Else Matters?
Nothing Else Matters. He did not, and my pick he didn't. So let's see what was number 2.
What was your pick? That has to be the number 2, right? What is it?
I think it has to be number 2. I can't find it.
Well, my pick.
I'm gonna have to hear it.
Favorite Metallica song, And don't get me wrong, Nothing Else Matters is right there, bro. Because I'm with you. I don't. It doesn't have to be brutally heavy for me to love it. Like Nothing Else Matters, lyrically, musically, emotionally, amazing. But my number one is Sanitarium.
Yeah,
it's a similar type of song in the pacing, but it's a little more classic Metallica sound. And I also love the lyrics to it. I love the lyrics. Richard had mentioned Creeping Death. That would definitely be near my top. I love the riff. I love the verse, the way the vocals are sung. But also, and again, it's another song where I love the lyrics.
Aaron just nailed it.
It's biblical. Was it number 2, Sanitarium? Yeah, that's my favorite. But Creeping Death, I mean, for me, lyrically, I mean, the lyrics are taken straight from the Bible about, the Pharaoh with the plague and on the Egyptians in Egypt, and Moses leading the Jews out of Egypt, and it's lyrically an amazing fucking song. It really is. I mean, that's on my list. For me, I'm going to tell you 2 songs that wouldn't be in my top 10 that were in that top 10. For Whom the Bell Tolls, I know it's like one of the most popular songs. I'm not surprised to see it there. But to me, it just, honestly, when I was younger, I loved it, but I'm bored with that song now. If I never heard For Whom the Bell Tolls again, I'd be fine. I mean, I outside of the opening riff, I could do without it. And then the whole outro when it goes dun, 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 for 2.5 minutes, boring, done with it. And Enter Sandman, if I never hear it again, I'll be fine. I get it. It's a great song, but it's just like, in hindsight, it's so fucking played out. If I was going to pick a song from the Black Album, I'd pick Brian's pick, Nothing Else Matters. And I know it doesn't make the list, but I'd pick My Friend of Misery. Never gets enough credit, that song. I love the opening bass line, Jason Newsted's Shining Moment. And I love the fucking lyrics. Dude, anybody that's got an X can relate to these lyrics. You just stood there screaming, fearing no one was listening to you. They say the empty can rattles the most. The sound of your own voice must soothe you. Any fucking person that's driving you fucking nuts, those lyrics, man. The sound of your own voice must soothe you. They say the empty can rattles most. My Friend of Misery. Great fucking tune. Great tune. So I honestly, Sanitarium, My Friend of Misery, right there. Nothing Else Matters. I mean, that's where I'm at. What do you got, Jay? What is your pick?
All right. Well, I'm probably going to surprise you because my pick didn't fall in the top 10. But before I get to my top pick, I want to say some of my favorites besides, that didn't obviously make my top, but that would be there instead of those songs. Because I agree, Enter Sandman to me is just played out. Not that it's a bad song, but it definitely doesn't belong in a top 10, in my opinion, as far as, because Metallica's, obviously got a large, catalog. They're the amount of songs are infinite compared to a lot of other bands. I mean, they have, don't forget, Metallica has other albums that weren't like necessarily studio albums, like obviously Garage Days, and then Garage Revisited, and then Garage Inc.
Garage Inc. was a studio album, but yeah. But yes, I get your point. Yeah.
But that had
material to choose.
So they have a ton of other songs that, might not be kind of recognized by, diehard fans, but people that know, Metallica that might know. So if I had to give you my Outlaw Torn.
Richard chiming in. I love that song. I love Bleeding Me while we're at it. Outlaw Torn, not to interrupt you, Jay, since he brought it up. That actually had another 5 minutes to the track that cut off to fit onto the CD. Like, it's 10 minutes on the album, but actually it was a 15-minute song. I love that.
That's track. It's definitely a sleeper.
Go on, Jay. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're not cutting me off. But so obviously, for some reason, even though my favorite Metallica record is Master of Puppets, the first Metallica album that I ever heard was Injustice for All. And it was in Sean's backyard, Sean Smith.
Our friend Sean. The audience doesn't know who Sean is.
Well, okay. I'm just telling a story. Thanks for helping me out there. Reminding me that the audience doesn't know Sean. Like, who the hell's Sean? Anyway, the first Metallica album that I ever owned was Injustice for All. So for some reason, that always falls near and dear to my heart. And I love every song on that album. the track that obviously basically made Metallica like go from being like more of like an underground type band. Bingo, One. I mean, first of all, how about that video?
Insane. You know, you just hit something. Was One not in that fan voted top 10?
I think One was 2. I think
That had to
One
be
was.
two. You said I had Sanitarium right.
I think Sanitarium was.
I think
11.
you did.
One was 2. What was 1?
I think you fudged that number 2, Jay.
I think Sanitarium was 11th. I forgot about One, so that's.
Yeah. It had to
I
be
know
that.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
But
How'd you forget about your own pick?
it wasn't my own pick because that's not my favorite song in the album. I'm saying that's one of my favorites.
Got it. I misunderstood you. Okay.
Because not just because it was my first album, but because it was the video, everything about that track. I mean, just watching the video, like, doesn't that give you chills when you see
absolutely.
the guy, like the war zone, and they show the guy in bed and he's like, yo, wondering if he wants to be alive anymore. I mean, that to me is like the epitome of Metallica. Like, just when I heard that, it was like, oh my God, this song is just like on another level. And then when you get to the solo is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it might have been Kirk Hammett's best solo. I mean, just the intensity of it and the length. I mean, it's just nonstop. Like, and he goes off. Like, he just goes on a tangent. So that, to me, that track. But I love Blackened. But if I want to give you my personal favorite Metallica song, and I know you're going to be surprised, but it's my favorite song by them, and it's a little bit heavier, and it's Shortest Straw.
Yeah, I know you've always loved that show.
Yeah, Shortest Straw to me is the best Metallica song ever, in my opinion. Just because of the ferocity of the song. Like, it just starts off like dun 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 dun, and then it just fucking goes off, and the riff is just insane. Everything about that song is what got me into Metallica and why I became a thrash fan. So that's my favorite Metallica song.
You know what's cool about that? You remember about 10 years ago, whatever it was, we went to see Metallica's Orion Festival in Atlantic City, and they actually played the entire Black album in reverse order. But do you remember they actually played Shortest Straw on that show?
Yeah,
and I remember you were super pumped.
Yeah, and it was one of the first times they played it live.
Like, I was going to say, what are the chances that they'd even play that song?
Never, even back when the album came out, they didn't play. It's a known fact they didn't play Shortest Straw a lot. Like, but to me, like I said, it's one of those sleeper tracks that just doesn't ever get the credit. And I know it's not your personal favorite, but I know you love it.
No, it's an excellent track. Love it.
It's definitely like why I got into thrash.
Awesome. Yep, we had Richard on there. So anyway, Jay, let's get to it. It's the season finale of Sports and Metal. Normally, this is the time we do the picks of the week, but because it's the season finale and it's the end of the year, it's the holiday season, we're going to pick a favorite Christmas movie. We're going to mix it up. Now, who is going to volunteer here to go first? Me, Jay, or Brian?
I want you to go first this time. Or you want me to go because I
want you to go. I want you to go.
Since I went last with the Metallica.
You guys want me to go first? So you
go
first.
You go first, Brian.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
My favorite's Elf.
Dude, I'm right there. That's awesome. Yeah. I love Will Ferrell.
It's a great movie.
Dude, you can't go wrong with Elf.
What do you got, Jay?
All right. Well, I know mine's kind of like a cliche, probably, because a lot of people probably pick it, but it's just my favorite Christmas movie, and that's Home Alone.
Excellent choice.
I love it. I just love Home Alone. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, and it was just like, the kid, and then, the people are trying to break into the house. It's just a great movie, and it never gets old for me. So,
Jay, can you give everyone a little Christmas present and reenact the scene where he's in the bathroom and he's putting on
the aftershave?
Yeah,
give it to us, Jay.
Come on. That's it.
All right, so I'm going to come in. If I had to pick a traditional type Christmas movie, I'd have to go with Elf. I'd be with Brian. And I love Will Ferrell, so right off the bat. But I'm going to get a little non-traditional. Although it's been considered a Christmas movie. Richard's chiming in again. Christmas Vacation. See, I never loved Christmas Vacation, and I love the vacation movies. I prefer Vacation and European Vacation. Never was a huge Christmas Vacation guy, but you know what I'm going to pick? Fucking Die Hard or Gremlins.
Die Hard is, and a lot of people continue to try to argue that it's not a Christmas movie, but it is.
Or Gremlins.
Gremlins is too. I didn't even think of Gremlins. It's funny that you say that.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. Remember, they got the Mogwai. The dad got the Mogwai for the Christmas gift. The whole thing's set in snow, Christmas decorations, and
that's good picks. I like them. It's kind of all
mix it up a little bit.
I like it a lot.
And Richard's coming in with a Christmas Story, which is totally on anybody's list.
Well, can I be a nerd? Well, not a nerd, but can I just kind of be can I have a second one if I could? So if I was going to say my actual Christmas movie, I'm going to have to go Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because I still to this day enjoy when it's on Channel 6.
Yeah, I mean, certain things are just like a Christmas tradition. Yeah.
But I love it. Like I said, it's just because I remember watching it as a little kid. Tell me you did not get scared of the Abominable Snowman. Tell me you did not get scared of the Abominable Snowman.
I don't know if I did, but
I did. I was freaked out, man. That sucker freaked me out. Scared the shit out of me.
That's funny. No, everybody loves Rudolph. Anyway, dude, listen, before we wrap the show off, Brian, let's ask this trivia question one more time so we could get people coming up with an answer here. Why don't you ask it again? The trivia question, you're going to win tickets to the 90s Rock Fest featuring LoungeFly, Best of Foo, a premier Foo Fighters tribute band, and Ledbetter is a premier Pearl Jam tribute band, along with LoungeFly, the premier Stone Temple Pilots tribute band, at the Landis Theater in Vineland, New Jersey, January 7th. You're going to win tickets if you can answer this question. Brian, what's the question?
And 3 free T-shirts.
I keep forgetting. And
don't worry, I'll remind you. I got you.
Yep, 3 free T-shirts, one from each band. Ask the question again. What is it?
The question is, name 3 STP songs that the lyrics do not include the title of the song.
Okay. And for those of you that don't win tickets, you got to get tickets. $25. You're not going to find a better deal. It's Christmas. Buy them for a Christmas gift even. This is the premier show to see right now. January 7th, you're going to go to thelandistheater.com. Jay, if you could put that up again. thelandistheater.com. The tickets are $25. It's 90s Rock Fest. You're not going to want to miss it. Anyway, it's the season finale of Sports and Metal. We're always happy to have a great friend of the show, Brian Rosner from LoungeFly. Oh, anytime, man. LoungeFly is a huge friend of Sports and Metal. We're always honored to have any of you guys on the show. We're so pumped for the show on January 7th. Jay, I love you to death. You're my brother in crime. You're my brother, my partner in crime. We're looking forward to 2022.
Here, dude.
It's going to be a bigger and better year. Anything you wanted to add, Brian?
No, just Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And Jay, what about you?
Well, no, I just want to thank everybody for all your support. And, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. We appreciate all that you guys, all the sharing and, likes of our pages. And make sure you check out our website. We are going to be, as Aaron said, expanding. We're going to be bigger and better in 2022. We're going to have more articles, and we're working on getting some, some merchandise, some shirts and stuff, and some other stuff and some other surprises. So looking forward to it. And, obviously this is the Christmas season. We just want to wish you and all your families and everybody, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And we'll be back in 2022.
Absolutely, guys. As always, stay safe. Have a happy and healthy holiday, and rock on.
Peace out.
And that's our show. Tune in next time for more Sports and Metal with Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage. Woo, yeah! Got something to say? Hit us up at sportsandmetal0423 at yahoo.com or on Twitter at sportsandmetal.